GM. It is a pleasure and honor to be here today as we're kicking off Vibecode Summer Camp featuring Ohara and Base. I think this is such a pivotal time that we're in when it comes to building. And I think Brexton kind of just, hit it on the nail that when it comes to distribution and when it comes to content, software is right in the middle of it. And today we are going to start learning on a product management approach to scale your app and really have these different concepts on how to go about prompting and also distributing your app and telling your story. So a little bit about myself. I am a product manager at heart. I've been in Web3 for about 5 years now. I started in 2020. I was a product manager for an NFT marketplace called Club Rare. And then I bounced around from Web 2.5 with DraftKings as a marketplace operations manager. And from there, I really have dug into the realm of Web3. And I've always thought, what is this next evolution of Web3? And I think we're looking at it right now, right? With the approach of being able to build and scale apps within an ecosystem that really allows you to build freely and also monetize. So that's really something I've been super passionate about these last couple of months when it comes to the Web3 and vibe coding. I think it's a fundamental skill to have, but at the same time, it's one of those things where we're able to activate builders now to really build on chain without needing the need to have tens of thousands of dollars, right? You have your own studio. Literally, Ohara is like a dev studio for you to really build apps on chain, and I really do believe like that's such a beautiful thing to have in this market. So, with that being said, I would love for you guys, if you are guys on a computer right now, to go on to ohara.ai. We definitely want to onboard you guys if you haven't been onboarded yet. And make sure that you guys are signing up for the pro account. Is that correct, Slava?
Yes, if you could just sign up to Ohara, and then I'll DM you for your profile link so we can get you on pro. So just let me know when you guys are done, and I'll set both of you guys up, Ashley and Ryan.
Cool. And just bear with me one moment here. Just going to go ahead and share some slides with you guys to kick this off. Sweet. Alrighty. So Vibecode Summer Camp, a product management approach to scale your app concept, a masterclass. This is something that I've taught now to over 1,000 builders. And I hope that this can help you, with your building journey. And as always, I'm here as a resource. If there's something that you don't understand, please feel free to drop it in the chat or just DM me. That is my information, Sir Stacks. I go by Addy, but my real name is Adalbert de la Cruz. So as I mentioned about me, you call me Addy, short for Adalbert. I have a master's in blockchain, bachelor's in risk management, founder of Rapid Labs and Clarity. Rapid Labs ideally is just a community build where we teach people about vibe coding. So that's the essence of it. And Clarity is actually one of the first apps that I built on Ohara. And it was actually one of the first MVPs that I built on Ohara, which is a wellness / productivity tool to help people out with mental clutter. So if it wasn't for Ohara, honestly, prototyping would have been a lot harder because they make it so easy for me, honestly. So by raise of hands, who here has an app idea? Just curious, want to fill the room. Anybody has an app idea? Okay, some hands up. Melody has an app idea. Okay. Eunice, okay. Nice. Cool. Well, we all understand what is vibe coding, right? Vibe coding is using natural language to describe your app idea into an LLM platform. And if you haven't done so, please join the Discord because that's where you'll be able to know what's going on within the next 4 weeks, your assignments, and just anything else that Ohara may have in store for you guys. So vibe coding, using natural language to describe your app idea into LLM platform. I think we all have heard about vibe coding. Some may not. But if you are new here today, that is what vibe coding is, being able to build an app using natural language. Now, I like to add a spin to it. I also like to say that vibe coding also comes from feeling. it also comes from creativity, being able to prompt Modu in this scenario on building an app that really resonates with you, whether it's with emotions or whether it's a feeling. I think vibe coding is really up to you as the creator. You're really the captain of the ship. All I'm here is to provide you the resources on how to go about that, and you let your own creativity flow. So that's what I would like and expect from you guys, to really let your creativity flow, but also apply these certain principles that would allow you to be successful as well, to tell your story as a builder. So vibe coding is a huge unlock. It's a huge unlock to the economy. And when we're bringing that on chain, there is a no-brainer that builders can monetize off of their ideas or their prototypes, and being able to really have either 1, 2, 3, 4, or multiple apps to really distribute on Farcaster and on the base app. And I think that's where the on-chain economy will unlock for you guys as builders to really build sustainable dApps. I remember back in 2021 where, getting a dev cost anywhere between 10 to 20K to just build a dApp, right? You guys have the resources now to build dApps at your own disposal. You guys can build weird stuff. You guys can build fun stuff. And Ohara makes that all accessible for you guys, in my opinion, at such a great price. And the integrations and everything, we'll get that into later, but like everything that they provide you, the resources, I think it's a huge unlock to be able to build on chain. So why build it? You can build your business page, you can build your MVP like I did, right? You can build prototypes to sell on the market on chain, or you can have other people remix it. You can build fun dApps, you can build whatever, you can just build it, right? And I think what Brexton to that point where he said, and being able to build stuff as content as software and being able to also monetize on it on chain, it's a new vertical. It's a new day and age where we can literally build anything. But it's up to you guys to really build the future of Web3, right? When I think of Web3, I think of apps that are fun. I think about apps that also make me money. I think about apps that are, interact with each other from a social perspective or from a finance perspective, whatever that layer is. When we're building in Web3, you can just build it now. And I think that's really the most pivotal thing that, honestly, in my opinion, Web3 has been able to gain, and it's Web3 vibe coding, because the accessibility to build and the barrier has become a lot lower. So just build it. Just build it. Whatever that is, just build it. So what is Ohara? All right. I like to say that Ohara is like a magical toolkit. And I say magical because Modu is in it, and Modu helps me with everything, right? So think of this toolkit as with like pre-built integrations that really helps you build apps, right? If you think about Web 2, and some of the Web 2 platforms that help you build apps, a lot of the stuff that you have to integrate with, like the APIs, for instance, are manual processes. And ideally, those type of processes slow you down in the midst of building. And I'm only saying that because I'm someone who started building or vibe coding on the Web 2 scene, where integrating APIs sometimes can be a bit mundane, difficult. Now, if you're technical, it may be like the easiest thing for you. But let's say for someone who is not that technical and may not have the bandwidth to have all these integrations plugged in, it takes some time, right? And with Ohara connections, it makes this like specialized blueprint for you, especially if you talk to Modu. And that lets you to quickly add these powerful features that allows you to build these apps, and in a matter of minutes, right? What could take Ohara 5 minutes could probably take on your own probably an hour to 2 hours to integrate 3 APIs, right? So instead of building everything from scratch, these connections give you those detailed instructions on how to integrate them. And it makes it so much easier when you're using the chat feature, which honestly, it's been a super game changer for me as a builder, but someone who loves using AI as a companion, Modu will help you with that. And I know I keep mentioning Modu, so if you guys are not familiar on who Modu is, I'll definitely give you a rundown in the next slide. So the way how it works and how I approach it, and just to kind of make it as simple as possible on how Ohara works, you write the prompt, right? You also have a feature where the prompt also can get enhanced. But what I like to do is before I even like write the prompt, I like to understand what am I building first, writing the prompt and going into chat mode first. I like to go into chat mode first because I love when Modu breaks down my idea and I can go back and forth with Modu in trying to understand, hey, maybe we should tweak this feature, maybe we should tweak that feature, right? And being able to have Ohara generate the app that I want with the help of Modu. Um, Modu Modu is probably one of the smartest like companions I've ever had when building because it understands. It really truly does understand. And when you take your time with Modu, you will be surprised on the nuances that it picks up. I'm super impressed. As someone who is an advocate for product, I am super impressed on how Modu is able to really pick up nuances and really build for you. Next, you iterate, right? You go back and forth with Modu, and then you go to build mode where you allow the app to build itself. Once you feel comfortable, you publish, and the app, you have the options between to launch it with the app or without, without a coin or with a coin. And if you do go ahead with the coin approach, it will be created via Doppler, which on the back end, that's what Ohara is powered by. And then you allow others people to remix it or trade it. And then you earn every time it gets swapped, right? So that's the on-chain economy and building apps in today's age, believe it or not. Now, what are the advantages? As I mentioned, I think a huge problem that we know now is that 70% of the development time is spent on integrations, spent on wallet integrations, spent on API integrations, right? These core features. Where Ohara comes into place is allowing you to transform those integrations from the slowest part development into the fastest part. I kid you not, you can ask Modu to build something and it understands what to actually connect the dots with. And I'll show you a couple of API stacks is what I like to call that Modu can build for you. And I truly do believe that in using this platform, you are able to ship faster, way faster. I have about like 44 apps shipped on Ohara. And that's all thanks to just one, the AI model that they use, and also Modu, being able to help me reduce the time in how fast I want to get it to the market, and being able to also get better and more reliable apps, right? So Ohara connections are pre-built connections that allow you to activate that builder that you are. And I think that there is no platform right now that provides you all these fantastic features and blueprints to really be able to scale your dApps. So these are 4 popular API combos that I've seen from a lot of builders. If you want to build something with gaming, usually these are the top 3 APIs that kind of get integrated: 3JS, 3D Environment Loader, and then Sketchfab API. So if you're into gaming, this API stack is for you. If you're into the Web3, yeah, cool. If you're into the Web3 social and want to create a social layer, Lens Protocol, XMTP, which is a messaging protocol, private messaging protocol, and Third Web allows you to integrate these social layers to create an app. And then AI research, which I've used this stack plenty of times to create, which was one of my probably most successful apps on the platform, Coinplexity. So think Perplexity, but for crypto. Being able to use the Perplexity API, Exasearch, and Firecrawl to really create this robust research platform for crypto. And last but not least, the creative apps. If you're a creative and you want to build something cool, using Runway, Tenor, and Animate is another API stack that you can use. Take a screenshot of this if you're curious, because this is going to come into hand later. But I'd be more than happy to also share the slides with you as well. Any questions thus far? All righty, no questions. So, what is remixing? Right? Remixing is an interesting concept that Ohara has, and it brought me back to the days of like, and I wouldn't say days, right? Because those days are still here, but it brings me back to the fundamentals of GitHub, right? Where a code is uploaded and you can remix that code, right? But with GitHub, there's no kickback, right? There's no incentive for me to do that unless if I just want a shortcut on building something that it's already existed. Here with Ohara, remixing lets you see how the prompts turns into features, and then you could also learn how to shape your UI UX within that app. It's within itself. So really allowing you to put your unique spin to that original app idea, but also creating an on-chain economy where funds and incentives go to the remixer, right? So when you remix on Ohara, you're also earning an upside, right? So these are the token incentives. So 6% of the token supply goes to the remixer. And Slava, please correct me if I'm wrong on this. But 6% of token supply goes to the remixer, 3% to the original creator, and then 0.5% of every trade goes to the app publisher. And that's how the token incentives works. And I think it's a pretty cool way to not only earn but also showcase your creativity in remixing apps. So the theme of this week is remixing. We want to see cool apps that are remixed by you guys, and in doing so, we're going to start right now. We're going to select 3 minutes, and I'll do this in real time with you guys as well. We're going to pick an app. Doesn't matter which app it is. And I think it'll be cool to probably like pick some of the contest submissions while we're at it, and picking one and just remixing it, right? And in doing so, you can just click on a project right here where it says remix app. You click on this button. All righty. And cool. Now we get to see prompts that this builder used to build this app. And once you kind of get a feel for it, if you understand the nuances of this app, then you can go ahead and now remix this app. Looks like they were going back and forth. You were wrong again. You didn't appreciate it while the connect with. Okay. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply
Sorry, Addy, I
say,
didn't mean to interrupt you, but
yeah.
Ryan, I see you got your hand up. Do you have a question?
No question. That's my app, though.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, Ryan, actually, now that you're here, Ryan, would you like to explain what app, what did you build? Now, being that I'm on your app.
Sure. Yeah. So this is one that and I don't know how well you can hear me. Let me know if it's feedbacky or anything. But
No, you're good.
yeah, it's intended for civil advocacy. So you have basically the ability to, if you're interested uh, in being more active from like a political perspective, not necessarily just
Mm,
politically though, right? Like there's an entire tab dedicated to like tools available for different purposes, as well as like an intro, like information for like intro to Web3. But the main focus is civil advocacy and, just providing. I think the tagline I used was, um, a mini app for people who care, to help them find causes that matter to them.
nice. Okay, Ryan. No, this is
Yeah.
that's really dope. And I'm curious to know, like, what made you create that?
So funny, not funny thing. I had wanted to contribute something that was just a, no questions asked. This is here for a good purpose thing. And, because I feel like we don't have enough of that here, on chain. But yeah, what the catalyst was my wife and I were having a conversation, actually like a month, 2 months ago maybe, and it was just she had told me that in the local elections where we live, there was I think it was a 2.5% voter turnout, and like that's 2.5% of the eligible voting population, right? And so that like sat with me for a while, and then just one day, I think, I'm trying to remember. Anyway, the point is, I made it because, I wanted there to be something net positive that was just available. So like, for example, you're on the advocacy tab right now, where you can get information. There's the base tab, which is for donations to charities on chain, which is something that like I'm trying to get other charities involved in. The hang on a second. The there's like a tab for resources and reporting, and that those are actually like, oh, this was another important thing for me too. That's 100% safe to work, like safe for work. Those links are legit. But every
Nice.
link on there, should be prompting the person that is clicking on it to make sure that they either know exactly where they're going, or they know they're about to leave the page. So now, straight up, that first one right there, that's my petition that I started,
Okay.
that I actually started recording a video for, and an audio, but I got like super nervous while I was doing it for some reason, and so I just like panicked, and I just put a pin in it since then. So, but yeah, there's going to be a TikTok / video on change.org / video on the affiliated channel on Farcaster for this app. And yeah, the goal is to link all those things together and get change.org to, utilize one of the multiple readily available resources for, accepting cryptocurrency. Starting out with like X402 or base pay.
Wow. Okay. That is really dope, Ryan. This is a really well thought out app. Very, very, very cool, very powerful. I would love to actually connect you with a representative from Stand With Crypto, because I see huge alignment with what you're building. But yeah, this is, that's the gist of the app. So now think about, for those who are building, how would you remix this, right? And I think it's not a challenge, but it allows you to be in this like creative realm. Like, all right, well, there's just so much you can do with this. How can I now transform this app or remix it to make it to my own liking? Whether it's another civic engagement or something else that you have in mind, think about how the impact that this app is already making and how you can now enhance it with your own fun and twist. So that's where we're going to put a pin on it, and allow you to pick within 3 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on picking a project that's out there. And then once those 3 minutes are up, 10 minutes to remix it and then publish it and share it on socials, right? I want you guys to share it. Doesn't matter if it's not finished yet, you could always go back, but show us what you're building, right? So I will put 3 minutes. I'll actually put a little bit of music if that's okay with you guys. And then I'll tell you when the time is up once you pick your app, and then 10 minutes to remix it. Okay. So give me 1 second here. And I also will do this with you guys too as well.
Hey, could I just chime in real quick with a question?
Yeah, sure thing.
What I missed just briefly. What was the are we looking at current submissions that you're wanting us to do this for?
Current, it could be anything, honestly. Any
Okay.
app that's out there right now on the Ohara page, you know, you could go on my page
Cool.
and remix some stuff that you know, I have. So yeah, man, feel free to pick anything you want. All right. 3 minutes are up. And now we're going to go into the build portion. So if you pick that project, right, I want you to remix it, right? Get creative. I'll put a timer on my end for 10 minutes and you guys just build. Once you're done building, put it in the chat if you finish early. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we just want to see what you're working with, right? And once you go ahead and publish it, make sure you share it to socials, you know, share with a friend and get some feedback, right? We want you to get in that notion of like publishing your build. Don't be embarrassed about your build. I think when I started my first build, it wasn't really good, but I started getting a lot of feedback. So build, publish, get feedback, iterate, and build again. So 10 minutes will start now. Go ahead and build. If you have any questions on remixing, please feel free to shoot a message in the message box or DM me. Sweet. Let's get it. All right. All right. All right. Pencils down, builders. I'm going to go ahead and briefly show what I did during these 10 minutes. I only used one prompt. And this one prompt was more or less style. It was just more style based than anything else. I really enjoyed the features that I already had, but I wanted to make it a little bit more, I guess, cleaner from a UX UI perspective. So I built Ticker. Well, another builder built. I want to say it's like No Ticket Web3. I think that's the name of the app. So ideally, it's just an event management ticketing platform with Web3 integration, which is pretty cool. And I thought that was like really dope. So I pretty much took that, remixed it, and called it Ticker with more of a clean and sleek UX UI. So this is what I remixed. Again, just used one prompt and Modu went to work. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, Modu's still working on your remix. All good. If Modu is still working on your remix, once it's done, please share it. Tag Ohara, and then also join this. Okay, and also you know, just tag me so I know that you actually post this up into the chat or the socials, or even on Discord too as well. We want to see those apps for this week, which is the remix component of it. So this is, yes, these sessions are recorded as well, so you can always get a copy of that at the end of the day or end of camp. You can always refer back to this as your point of guide. So good call out, Slava. Sweet. So this is what I remixed. We're going to continue on with our presentation here with the camp, and we did the remixing, right? So now I want to now focus on, all right, well, if I am remixing apps, right, my prompt has to be good, at least good enough for Modu to understand what it wants me to do or what it wants the outcome to be when you're building with AI, right? Because input and output is very important when you're building with AI. So what's that input? That input is going to be that prompt that you're going to be using. But there's some nuances, right? And I want to fix this prompt together, right? So this is a very vague prompt. I think we all know this. Build me a cooking app. Now, how can we make this prompt better? Any volunteers? Ryan, I'm gonna pick on you, man, because your app was fire.
Okay. So the prompt is build me a cooking app.
Yep. How can we make it better?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm gonna level with you. This isn't my bag, but I'll do my best. Right?
Hey, it's all good.
I mean, I would say instead of build me a cooking app, I would be more specific and say like I want to uh I want to I guess I'm not sure exactly what I would say, but I'd want to focus on the experience that I'm
Right.
trying to provide and
Mhm.
not this is yeah, I would focus
Yeah.
on the experience I'm trying to provide.
Absolutely, and you're on the money with that, man. You're on the money. I didn't expect you to come up with the whole prompt because that does take work. You know what I'm saying? But you're on the money, right? You want to understand the outcomes, but you also want to understand the experience, right? What does this app really do? Like, what does it really do, right? You can just say a cooking app, but for why? For who, right? So I kind of divided this into like an okay prompt and a really great prompt, right? So just so you guys can see, build me a cooking app went from this to this, right? Build me an app that helps users who struggle with deciding what to cook based on available ingredients, right? So what that tells me is that I want to build an app with the intent of helping others cook with their own ingredients that they already have in their fridge, right? Now, where it gets a little bit better, and I want you to say a little bit, I would say 100x better, is build an app that helps users who often want to cook but struggle, right? So that's the problem. That's the problem user story. They struggle with deciding what to make, especially when they have limited ingredients, right? So now, not only do they struggle on what to cook, but they have limited ingredients in their fridge. So now we get a better understanding of the user profile. Um, and then it goes into the time and inspiration. So they lack the time, they lack the inspiration, and they also lack the limited ingredients that they have, right? This app users to easily generate meal ideas based on what they already have available, reducing stress and saving time. So not only we provided the problem, but then we also provide a solution for the user, right? Um, and that's what really makes a really great prompt when you're building, especially with like AI and you're building apps. You want to present the problem and then the solution. Um, I often take product management methods, and that's something that we're going to dive in a little bit more, which what I call is the PM method to vibe coding. And ideally is really understanding the user story, really understanding the user's perspective on from when they get onto your app, what is that one thing you want to solve for them? What is that one experience you want for them? And that's very pivotal when you're building. Slava, it looks like there's a couple of folks that want to join the call. Are we good?
I got it. I accepted that.
Awesome. Thank you, Melody. And that's what really makes a really great prompt, right? Being able to present the problem and also present the solution in the very bite-sized information. Now, the really great part about Modu is that Modu as your companion, what you get to do is, and I'm just going to briefly share my screen here, right? If you put that into a prompt, and actually, let me just, you get to use this feature here where it enhances your prompt, right? So if you're able to write a really great prompt and then enhance it and then chat with Modu, you're going to be really building some really cool apps, some really strong apps, I would say the least, right? And I say that because if you're already starting off with a really great prompt, and then you're now having Modu enhance your prompt and then chatting with Modu about your prompt and what you want to build, you're going to really be building a really great app from day one. If you have strong foundations with prompt building, it is going to build the features, it's going to build everything for you with less errors, in my opinion, because you're more direct with your prompts. You're literally telling the AI the problem, the solution, how it should go about it. So that's what really makes an okay prompt to a good prompt to an excellent prompt. So I would say this is a good prompt, right? Let me just share my screen here. I would say that this is a good prompt and this is an excellent prompt, right? That's how I usually like to start my building, is really with a good foundational problem and solution. So as I mentioned earlier, right, product management methods plus vibe coding equals better prompts and features, right? And it's not only about the features, it's also about that user journey. In PM, what we call product management, we focus on the user's cycle. We focus on what does a user look like from the moment they onboard to our platform to the moment their issues are resolved with the intent of why are they using our app, right? You want to put yourself in that framework as to like, why is this user coming to use my app, right? For example, Ryan, you're building the app for civic advocacy, right? For me, that user persona, it's someone who is involved in politics, who is passionate about change, right? You want to start thinking about those user profiles because when you're distributing your apps, those are your targets, those are your target audience who you would want to use your DApp or your app, to say the least. Now, if you're building degen stuff, right? Like if you're building like meme coin launchers and you're building things that have hype, right? Then now your target audience is a little bit different, right? You're now skewing over to the degens, people who just want to go ahead and throw money, right? So you have to also understand, what is that user story? What do I want my users to accomplish the moment they get on our platform? So your mission this week, right? And we're going to continue a little bit further on prompting, because then that's going to segue into next week's class. But I want you guys to take note for you guys. I don't even want to say homework, but your mission, because this is your mission. Your mission is to, yes, a recording of this will be shared. Absolutely. Great question, Peter. Your mission this week is to remix one existing app. Aside from the one that you already like played around with today, I want you to go back to the drawing board, pick one existing app and remix it. An additional mission is to write one prompt idea. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I would love for you guys to share it in the Discord by mid-Wednesday on what is your original app idea, what do you would like to work on, and just so we can get in the exercise of like sharing prompts. I think that's also important, and that's how as a community we're able to learn and give feedback. And once you're done with your remix, we will love to see your remix by Friday. And just a quick 30-second pitch. You can type it out. You can record yourself. If you're timid, you can hide the camera, whatever it is. But we want you to build, launch, and share. That's what we want you to do. We want you to get comfortable with what you're building. And a bonus to whoever builds the weirdest and most creative remix gets a feature, right? Melody probably be more than happy to give you guys a shout out. Whoever builds like the most creative and weirdest app of the week. So that is your mission this week. We want to be able to see those apps that you're building, and we want to support you guys as well. So also understand that this is a community as well of builders, and we all have one goal, and that goal is to just build. So yeah, so feel free to write that prompt idea by Wednesday into the Discord, and share with me if you need some feedback. I'd be more than happy to be here as a resource, as I will have some open office hours for you guys as well. We have about like 2 more slides, and then we'll put a pin to that, and then we'll build until next week. So great. So PM methods for non-PMers. So this is for people who are not product managers, but want to go ahead and inherit those skills that PM have, right? Because the product managers have a really big advantage. And that advantage is that they know how to speak to engineers. They know how to articulate what needs to be done within the app, or what needs to be completed for those engineers, right? So what I like to say is that product managers, ideally, they know how to communicate with engineers. So that made me realize, if I know how to communicate with engineers, then how can I learn how to communicate with AI? Because ideally, AI is my developer. AI is my engineer. So I want you to get in that method, on that framework of also putting yourself not only as a dev, but not only as a vibe coder, but also as like a product manager as well, right? Because once you place yourself in that realm, you get to really understand different nuances from design thinking to minimal viable products and really understanding user journey, user flow. So one of the methods that I go by always is be agile, right? You simply do not build an entire product at once. Although you may think that it can do that, you also want to be able to test and share and have this iteration loop where you're getting this feedback and you're continuously being flexible with the idea that you build and in hopes that, it grows. Don't think that this one idea that you have, it's always going to be just that, right? Your community, your peers will help you shape your product over time. So be flexible, be agile. Design thinking. This is crucial in product management. You can't solve a problem. Try talking to users, right? I'm going to keep using Ryan because Ryan really had a really dope app. Your users, right? Maybe talk to people from Stanford Crypto communities, people who are advocates and want change, whether it's in local or counties, right? Like whatever that is, try talking to them and seeing how this tool can help them, providing them resources and really empathizing, defining and ideating on what is this prototype going to be and testing that with them. Because they are the ones that are going to give you that crucial feedback, right? They are going to be the ones who are going to paint that story for you. They're going to advocate for you, especially in those phases that you're testing out this app, right? Which is why I say just build it and launch it. People will gravitate towards it, but also just you don't know who may see it. And lucky for you guys are in a community of builders where we can give you that feedback in real time. And who knows, you may get your first 10 to 300 users in real time. Who knows? But the important thing is to empathize with your users, define what they need, ideate what they need, and then prototype it and then test it out continuously to get that feedback loop to them. Right? One of the things that I always harp on is just jobs to be done, right? The users, they don't want the drill. Right? You want to give them the hole in the wall already pre-made so they can focus on the outcomes, right? I don't want to put up a frame if there's no holes on the wall. I want the hole in the wall already. I want the frames ready to be attached so I can put the nails in. Like I want everything ready. And as users, when we come onto an app, sometimes that user stickiness dies out because sometimes that user onboarding experience may be too lengthy, or sometimes the tools that we need to solve our issues are maybe too complex and we need something simpler. We want something already catered to us, right? So I always use this analogy of users don't want the drill, they want the hole in the wall, right? Focus on customer outcomes or user outcomes, not features. Focus on what do I want my users to leave out of here within the next 30 seconds. And then minimal viable product, MVP. I think everybody knows this. Ship it now, perfect it later. That's kind of my motto. Don't really think about too much about the nuances of how it looks. If it looks too pretty or it looks too ugly, if it has 3 strong features, it works, just ship it, right? I think the cool thing about Ohara is that you're able to comment on people's projects, right? And I don't see no issues with saying, hey, like, I would love to see this, or I think this would be dope as a feature, right? Like really use Ohara as a platform to really connect with other builders. Because not only Ohara is built to create apps, but if you think about it, Ohara also has like this cool social layer where you can follow builders, you can comment on their projects, and really be immersive within this builders community. And I think that's really, really, really cool. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. And some of the things to like kind of just avoid as we go into week 1 of building, some common pitfalls to avoid. As I mentioned, vague prompts equals bad results. I think we all know that. Try to be descriptive, try to implement the problem statement, try to implement the solution statement to really guide your AI, which in this case, it would be Modu. Do your research. I think that's also important. You also don't want to build blindly. but you also want to creatively also have this like sense of direction. And I think that's important as well when you're building. Don't assume that you know what your users want. Kind of immerse yourself as the user and say, hey, what would I need in order for me to feel fulfilled and using this platform or this app, right? Do I want to make more money? Do I want to solve a pain point? Do I want to focus more, right? Like, what are those things that you don't want to assume, but you know that you can use? Over engineering, please do not ask Modu to build features for you, because it will crash out on you. It will definitely crash out on you. Do not try to over engineer things. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Keep it simple enough for it to work, and then continue to iterate based on that feedback loop, or just based on how you feel, right? That's what vibe coding is all about. Like, how do you feel about this product, and how is it making you feel, and how can we make it better? Ignoring edge cases. I think ignoring edge cases, when I first did this, it was a thing, but I think now with Modu, it really helps out with those edge cases. Thinking that it will just work just fine, Modu really just helps you out, really fine tune those things. So big shout out to the Ohara team once again, being able to kind of like have Modu as like that person who debugs for you right away, right? When I first started using Ohara, we didn't have Modu, so sometimes there will be some, like, in my instance, I'm not super technical, but I do understand technical nuances. Using Modu, it makes it seamless, right? Having like that technical companion that I can go to. And then forgetting to iterate. I think I mentioned that again and again, right? Definitely do not think about a one done approach. Continue to iterate, continue to get feedback from your peers, continue to kind of put that into the loop of while you're building, and have fun with it. Have a lot of fun with it. I think that's what really has allowed me to grow as a vibe coder, and has allowed me to really share my story and my vision on how I go about app building, because it's fun to me. I don't stress about features or user outcomes. I put myself as a user and understand the nuances and how to solve the problem. So yeah, don't just try to go in this just saying, hey, I'm going to build this entire week. No, take your time, right? Good things come from good things when you wait and actually like take your time and building stuff that actually is meaningful and impactful. All right, that's for next week. Cool. I will put a pin to that. We're at 2:20 now, so I'll leave it open for questions and answers. We'll love to hear anything that you guys got going on, and go from there. So yeah, I'll leave it open for now for questions and answers. And if there's no questions or answers, I'm also available via Discord. Super happy to stick around and just answer any one-on-one questions you guys may have as well. Super excited to kind of... Sure, Ryan, absolutely. I'm just gonna ramble a little bit, and then just let me know when you're ready. Super excited to be here with you guys. This is something that I'm like super passionate about. Melody and Slava could tell you. This is something that I probably sleep, eat, and breathe every day when it comes to vibe coding. So I just wanted to say that your guys are in good hands as well with the team, with the Ohara team, and I'm super excited to see what you guys are building. If you haven't, so please email Slava your Discord names just in case, to kind of get you set up in the camp. And that's that. I'm not sure, Ryan, if you're ready or not, but I'll wait for you. No worries. And I guess as we're waiting for Ryan, I do want to harp on one thing, and that is that when you're building, I know like there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to like have like this like fire app on base and this fire app on Farcaster, right? Like, do your research on what's out there already, because that's gonna solve a lot of the pain points that you're trying to build for. In addition, try to talk to the community in Farcaster, right? Really get involved with Farcaster, really get involved with the base ecosystem to really figure out what's out there, what's not out there. because the more you know, the more you're able to actually do and create an impact on what you're building. I think having that research beforehand as you go into building would allow you to have like an upper hand. Because as Brexton mentioned, like people are, coding by hand or manually, I should say, to build forecasts of mini apps. You have the advantage to build multiple apps using Ohara. So let that marinate, think about it, do your research. And that's that, man. I will open it up to Ryan, man. Go right ahead.
Hey, thanks a lot, and I appreciate all the information and context today. My question is pertaining to the private connections in the configure tab on Ohara. Because there's like, you can go to configure and then connections, and there's public and private, and it
Yep.
just, it gives context, but I'm just trying to understand the use case for the private connection.
That's a great question. I'm assuming that private would allow you to use your own private API, but Slava, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's for you to provide your own kind of like private connections that are not available there. So like if you want to keep some connections private, you can put them there. Also in the pipeline, we have features to allow people to turn off like remixing. So if you have certain, I guess, sensitive information in your app and you don't want others to be able to see it when they remix it, you'll be able to toggle that off as well. So that should help. I know it's something that you mentioned too, Schmidt.
Yeah, that was my thing, because some of them, like the Dash Club app that I'm making on Ohara, that's like super nuanced, and I've got like a huge list of environmental variables for that one. So, it's like I love remixing. I think it's really cool. But yeah, being able to opt out of it in certain circumstances, or at least I think my feedback was, if it's possible to set up like a remix, a .remix ignore file type, where like your env file is stripped of the variable past the equal sign, and then they're just left knowing they need those things. But anyway, that was my question. So thank you.
Awesome. No, really great questions there. I'm super excited to kind of just see the growth and all the implementation and surprises that Ohara has throughout these 4 weeks. If there is no other questions or concerns, please feel free once again to reach out to me via Discord or Twitter at SirStax, SERSTAXX. Be more than happy to be a guide for you and provide you any feedback that you're looking for in building your apps. And that is that. Cheers, guys. You guys made it to week 1. The beginning of week 1. We still have some more things to do throughout this week, but super excited to kick this off as the initial camp. So cheers, guys. Happy Monday. Continue building, continue shipping, and just build, honestly. Build and launch. Cheers.